Erin Parker. We, just a couple things I wanted to mention before we start the presentation, that we did send out the printed copies of these revised procedures. They went out today on so you'll receive them on your next truck. They went through the mail. Also, on the CSAUP, there is a PDF version of this presentation, so please make sure that you share it with those that handle hiring at your store and were not able to be here during this presentation time. I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Jessica Skipper right now, and we'll get started.
Alrighty. This is Jessica. I am going to go over the DocuSign hire paperwork presentation. For those of you who have been doing this for almost a year now, you'll be very familiar with a lot of the things that we're going to go over. However, there are some essential changes, and I have outlined them very clearly in this presentation. So please pay attention, even though you think you might know what you're doing. For the pharmacy locations that are kind of new to this process, we are going to go through this presentation rather quickly. But I don't want you to feel like you're not getting enough information. If you ever feel like you have a question, or after this presentation is over, if you feel like you didn't understand something, you can always call me or Kayla Rogers. Our extensions are going to be at the end of this presentation, and then we're always there for you to help whenever you do your first process. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the presentation. Before we get started, I want to congratulate y'all. We started this process in the middle of a pandemic, and y'all just took it and ran with it. There were very little issues. We're going to address those in this presentation today, but overall, we did an amazing job as a company transitioning. I outlined here some of the things that we have accomplished and just reducing our carbon footprint from transitioning from paper to electronic. So congratulations, give yourself a pat on the back, seriously. With the whole year behind us, we're going to make some changes. We're going to go through the whole process. For those of you that are new, I already mentioned that, and provide a refresher. On the slides that have new or changed in red, those are the ones that you need to pay special attention to. All right, so before we start hiring, we want to make sure that we tell our prospective employees about the core values and the mission of the company. I've outlined them here. During the interview, you need to make sure that your employees are going to align with these goals. You need to hire people that will make sure that their traits kind of align with the goals, and they're going to boost your store morale. When you decide to hire, what you need to do is you need to have your employee provide their legal name. This is going to be the name that's on their Social Security card. Then you will also need their email address. If they're a minor, you're going to need their parents' legal name. You do not need their parents' email address. We've had that question several times. If they're a rehire, you still need to call HR and get a rehire status. That process has not changed. Employees must have an email. I believe that for the most part, we haven't run into too many issues with this. Every now and then we get an employee that just does not have an email or doesn't want to get an email, and we've done really well. Either we encourage them to create their own email address, or the second option, they can use a relative's email address as long as they have access to it. Okay, the cost of sending is going to be about $4 per application. That has changed just slightly this past year. It goes down a couple of cents. I'm not going to go into too much detail about that, but they get charged out every month. Okay, so now we're going to get into some of the issues that we've had. Over the past year, we've had an 80% completion rate, which means that 20% of the hire packets that we send off have been wasted. We really want to try to reduce that number over this next year. So in order to do that, I'm going to ask you to please do not ever delete or void a hire packet. If you sent it incorrectly, if you did an email address incorrect, if you attached the wrong documents, whatever the issue is, please do not delete it, do not void it. I need you to call me or call Kayla. Almost every issue we can fix. So please do not delete or void an envelope, and that should help us with our completion rate next year. All right, so now we're going to go over how to send an application. This process has changed quite a bit, so please pay extra attention. Before we begin, you need to know for the pharmacy locations, these steps are absolutely critical to follow. There's several different ways to send a hire packet, and we only use one for the company. So you need to make sure and go over these steps a couple of times before you send your first one. If you send an application from your computer, I've provided some images in this presentation that are very similar to what you're going to see. If you use your phone or your tablet, it's going to look a little bit different, but it's essentially the same process. So from the home page, you're going to click Start. And this is what it looks like from an Android phone and an Apple phone. And then you're going to select Use a Template. Do not click Sign a Document or whatever that other one. I think it says Create a Power Form. Please do not select those options. You must select Use a Template. This is what it looks like from the mobile view. There's going to be essentially two different, I forget what you call them. Two different folders, yeah, to choose from. All Texas stores are going to have two options now. One's going to be Texas Adult, one's going to be Texas Minor. Louisiana stores, it's going to say Louisiana Adult, Louisiana Minor. The reason why we have to separate them is because the two different states have different forms in the applications. And then also, we have to require parent signatures on minor applications. So in total, there's going to be 4 applications that you may need to choose from. All right, so the next step is once you click on Add a Template, this screen right here is going to pop up. You're going to click on Shared Folders, and this is what it looks like from mobile. Then you're going to click on Texas Retail, or if you're from Louisiana, it's going to say Louisiana Retail. And then this is the part that has changed. Most of you are used to, at this point, selecting a job description or job code. Those are no longer going to be an option. You're just going to select either adult or minor. Okay, if you're an adult, you have to choose an adult hire packet. Please do not select a minor because you're going to be asked for their parent signature, and that's just not going to work. If your employee is a minor, you cannot choose an adult hire packet. If you get in the middle of it and you realize, oh my gosh, I have a minor in front of me, I'm filling out their I-9 and I do not have a minor hire packet, please call me. We can fix it. It's not a big deal. And like I said before, do not void or delete it and start over. We can fix this. All right, and then the next step, once you select either adult or minor, you're going to click Add Selected. Okay, so this is where you're going to put in the different roles. I think on the next screen, this is what it looks like from a mobile view. You're going to click on each role and fill it in individually. So each role, for the pharmacy locations that are not familiar with this term, there's going to be 5 or 6 different roles. You're going to see a store director role, which is going to be your name. It's going to be the name of the person on the account. So usually that's the store director, but in a pharmacy location, it's going to be the pharmacy manager. And then the next person is going to be your district director. Pharmacy locations, you're going to want to use your pharmacy district director, not the retail district director. Then the next role is going to be your new employee. So you're going to put their legal name in, and you're going to put their email address that they provided. The next section, which is kind of optional depending on if you have a minor or not, is the parent guardian section. You're going to put the parent's legal name, and you're going to put your name and your email as the host, which I will explain a little bit later. And then the last role is HR. HR is always going to receive a copy at the end, and that's pre-filled in. The signing order is already set, so it goes in the order that I explained, and I'll go into that a little bit later. So this is the signing order. First, you're going to have the manager, which is your either store director or pharmacy manager. Your district director is going to approve the information. Your new employee will then get it and fill out the info at home. They do not need to be in the store or at the pharmacy to fill out their information. Once the new employee has finished, you're going to get a notification, and it's going to say it's your turn to sign. So the 4th person is going to be you. You're going to fill out the date of hire and the I-9. The new thing here is after you fill out the I-9, it's going to go back to your new employee. Your new employee is going to sign off on their direct deposit form. This process has changed because of how many errors we have seen with the direct deposit. So from now on, the manager is going to be filling out any bank information or selecting if they want a pay card, and then it's going to go back to the new employee where they're just going to sign off on it. Then the next role, parent guardian, if the employee is a minor, and then obviously the last one is it's going to come back to HR. All right, so here I've just outlined what it looks like. You're going to put your info in the store director, put your district director there, or your pharmacy district director if that applies to you, and then put your new employee's info there, and your store director, or actually that store director one will fill in automatically. And then your parent guardian information. This one is really crucial to remember for the pharmacy locations that are new. You're going to type the parent's name up at the top, and then you're going to type the host name, and host email is going to be you. It's going to be your account because they're going to come in and sign through your phone or your desktop. And then you're going to click send, and that's how you send an application. And this is how it looks from the mobile view, and then that's it. You are finished. I'm going to pause here and see if there are any questions on the chat. All right, so we are good to go. Go ahead, and we're going to go into how to fill out the offer letter. All right, so after you click send, you're going to, this box is actually going to pop up. You're going to click sign now. So this box is going to pop up. It's going to say, do you want to sign this document now? My recommendation is to always click sign now. That way you don't forget later. All right, I think I went over this already. If you choose immediately, you'll be taken to it immediately. So yeah, that's my recommendation, is just to always click sign now. If you click sign later, you can go to your manage tab, and it will pop up there, and that little blue sign button from this screen, you can click that and do it that way also. This is what it looks like from the phone. And then after you get to the document, you're going to click continue. And you're going to fill in the formal offer letter with all of the information that it asks for. Pharmacy locations that are not familiar, a formal offer letter is essentially just the letter that welcomes our employees. It gives them a brief explanation about our core values and our mission. And on this screen right here, this is where you're going to fill out the job title, job code, rate of pay, their status, and their location number. One thing I want to reiterate, because it has changed, is that location numbers must be in a 3-digit format. So if, for example, store 1 is going to be 001, store 105 is going to be 105, pharmacy number 1004 is going to be 104. Corporate, warehouse, bakery, I know some of you are on this call also. Please use your department numbers whenever you're typing in the location code. Something really important is the job code. Because we're not attaching the job descriptions like we used to, the number that you type in this formal offer letter as the job code needs to be correct the first time, because it is the number that your district director is signing off on, for one, and it's also the number that's going to be typed into our personnel system. So if you type 052, but you actually want them to be an 054 cashier, they're going to be in our system as an 052, because, I mean, we are trying to look at the job description that you attach, but that's not, it's probably not gonna catch. So we're going to end up typing 052. It's very important that you check and make sure before you click submit that you type the correct number. Once you're finished, you're going to click that yellow finish button at the top. And then you are complete. Your district director is going to sign next, and then your new employee will fill out their section at home. For the district directors that are on this phone call, if you get a formal offer letter and you see that you want to change the rate of pay, or you want to change the status or the job code, there is absolutely a way to do that. You do not need to sign it if you don't feel comfortable with whatever your manager put, give me or Kayla a call and we can walk you through how to change those numbers. Okay, so I got a question from a pharmacy about their username and password. I'm going to send out the account logins tomorrow morning, and you will have those then. Okay, that's a great question, Alex. The E-Verify prompt is no longer on there because I put in a formula so that whenever you type in the whenever you type in the location code, it's going to automatically flag us if your location is an E-Verify store. So that's no longer going to have to be something that you need to select. I'm going to go over the job, when the new hire will sign the job description a little bit later. It's going to happen during the I-9 process. All right, so let's move on. If your district director makes a change to the payer status, so that's what I was talking to the district directors a second ago. If for whatever reason they say, no, we don't want to do this pay or we don't want to do this status, we're going to change it, you will have to sign it again before it goes back to the employee. And if that ever happens to you, you can call me and I can walk you through it. It's fairly simple, but I have not outlined it here. So if it's confusing, please don't be afraid to give me a call. All right, so your second role, you are going to be filling out the date of hire, the I-9, the bank information. You're going to sign where indicated, and you're also going to attach the job description, which is a brand new role. Have your employee call, and you're going to set up a time for them to come in with their I-9 documents, with their voided check or their bank print off, and a parent if they need it. You're going to receive an external email when it's your turn to sign. From the Manage tab, you can click the blue sign button. We recommend filling this section out from your mobile device completely. There is about 2 or 3 sections that you absolutely have to use a mobile device from. So that's why I suggest you just start from your mobile device and finish it there also. Okay, step 1, you're going to access the document. You're going to click continue, and the very first thing you're going to do is fill out the date of hire. This is something that several people have made mistakes on in the past. You need to pick the date that you are filling out the document right then. So if you're doing a document today, you need to put March the 16th, 2021. You don't need to backdate it. You don't need to future date it. If you want to hire somebody in the future, wait to fill out their I-9 and all these documents until that date. If you accidentally did something that requires you to backdate it, you need to call either myself or Kayla and get an approval for that. Otherwise, you need to be using the date, which in this format, in this picture right here, you can see that March 4th is highlighted. That was the day that this was taken. So it makes it very clear on the calendar what today's date is. You need to select that date every single time. Step 2, it's going to take you to the I-9. You need to fill out the name on the I-9 with the name that is on their Social Security card. This is their legal name. And if you fill in a name that's like, let's say it's their maiden name that's on their ID or some other name, we're going to kick it back to you, and you're going to have to fill it out by hand and send it in the mail bag. And it's just an extra long process. So please make sure and fill out the I-9 with the name that's on their Social Security card. If they do not provide you with a Social Security card, you should ask them what their legal name is if they've gotten married and it's different than the one on their ID. And on top of this, you should also ask them to fill out their information with the name on their Social Security card. We should be using their legal name throughout this whole process. You're also going to select if they're a citizen or a non-citizen or one of those other options. If you scroll up from this page, you can see what they selected. Okay, and then after you fill in their name, you're going to select either List A or List B. List A is going to give you the passport, things like that. List B is going to give you options to choose either your Social Security card, birth certificate, ID, things like that. So you're just going to pick one or the other. These are a couple of reminders to be in compliance with our I-9 form. And I've stressed this, but I'm going to stress it one more time. You must fill out the employee's information exactly as it appears on their Social Security card. It doesn't matter if their driver's license says a different name. You have to use their Social Security card name. Don't use a nickname, and double check your spelling. Do not use expired documents. There is an exception to this. Because of COVID, there's an extension. And so if you receive a driver's license that has expired since March of last year, you need to call us for instructions on how to fill out the I-9 using an expired document. Other than that, there are no exceptions to this rule. If the document is a paper receipt, you need to make sure that the employee provides a copy of the original whenever they finally get it. And you also need to fill out the I-9 using the receipt number, not the driver's license number. Another part about the I-9 is whenever you're filling out the issuing authority, you need to fully type out the name. Abbreviations are not allowed. So if you say the state of Texas and you put and you put TX, you need to spell out Texas completely, or Texas Department of Public Safety or Social Security Administration. Do not use abbreviations on this form.
One thing I'd like to point out on when you're signing off on this I-9, you're signing off that you're looking at their actual documents, not copies of the documents or a picture of them on their phone. So you need to, if you're signing off that you've seen their driver's license, they've handed you their driver's license, it's a driver's license card like you probably have, it's their actual driver's license. You cannot accept a copy. And that goes for their Social Security card too. I understand people don't like to carry their Social Security card or their mama has it. It doesn't matter. You actually have to see a copy or actually see that document, that card, to verify that that is their documentation. And you're signing off that you've looked at it and are confirming that it is the correct documentation.
The last thing that I want to add about compliance is if the documents that they provide to you do not meet these qualifications, do not complete the hire packet. Don't just send something in because you don't have anything else. We're just going to let it sit there and you're not going to get done any faster. So please do not complete the hire packet. You can call us. We can give you different options if there are any available. But do not complete a hire packet with invalid documents. That's not going to get you done any faster, and it's going to create a lot more work for you and a lot more work for us.
And also, you cannot allow an employee to begin working until you have completely completed this process and you verified they have the correct documentation.
All right, so here is a picture of a correctly filled out I-9 using a driver's license and a Social Security card. You can see that the issuing authority is not abbreviated. There's an expiration date. This expiration date is expired because this was done last year, but either way, you get the picture. We got a question about if you can use a valid ID app to show a legal ID. That is not allowed. You need to hold the document in your hand and take a picture of the card or the receipt. All right. At the bottom of the I-9 page, you're going to click the sign button. There's something else on here also. Make sure that you're filling out your information with your valid legal name, the one that's on your Social Security card. If you have an assistant hiring for you at your location, make sure that your assistant is using your name. They're using your account. You need it. So, for example, I'm trying to think, Scott Berger at 25, I know he has an assistant that helps him. Whoever the assistant is, if they're filling out the I-9, they're using Scott Berger's name to fill out the I-9 whenever they're filling it out. And they're using his legal name. It's not a nickname, it's his legal, valid Social Security name. You need to fill in your information accurately. The address listed here is the corporate address. Don't use that address, use whatever address your location is. Okay, this is the section where you're going to have to switch to a mobile device if you're doing this from your computer. which is a little bit more troublesome. Like I said earlier, I recommend you doing this process from your cell phone or your tablet. But either way, this process has to be done from a cell phone because we're going to start taking pictures of Social Security cards, driver's license, bank documents, very sensitive documents, and this cannot be done from a computer. You're going to need to switch to your phone at this time. In order to change from your desktop to your phone, you're going to click on Other Actions, and then you're going to click Finish Later, and that will save everything that you've done so far. Okay, from your phone, you're going to click on the yellow paper clips to attach a photo. This is what it looks like specifically from your phone. You're just going to click on that yellow paper clip, and then you're going to click Upload a File. And you're gonna, from an Android phone, you need to click Scan. That's gonna take you to your camera. From an iPhone, you're gonna click Take a Photo or Video. Make sure that you're not taking pictures before you get into the DocuSign account. You need to take pictures while you're in the DocuSign app. That way those photos are not saved on your device and we're not putting our employees at risk of identity theft. Make sure that you're taking photos individually. So that essentially just means don't take a picture with two documents in the same picture. Take one picture of the Social Security card, take one picture of the driver's license. We mentioned this earlier, do not take photos of copies. I need you to make sure that you are holding the original document in your hand. We need to make sure that these people are valid to work in the United States, and in order to do that, I need you to hold the documents in your hands, not a copy, hold the actual cards. You're going to take photos after clicking Upload a File, and it will attach. If you take photos prior to opening the app, the photo will be saved on your device, on the cloud, and other places. And in order to remain in compliance, you need to make sure and take pictures of these documents through the app. Once the picture has scanned, you're going to click the check mark in the upper right-hand corner. Use this page, click the next yellow paperclip and you're going to attach a photo of the List C document. After you finish uploading documents, this is the part where a big change has happened. The next step is you're going to take a photo of the signed job description. So go to CSOP. You're going to print off whatever job description that the employee is going to work in. You're going to have the employee sign the job description and date it with today's date. And then you're going to take a picture of it and upload it here. You can see underneath the yellow paperclip here, it says job code and status. This is the job code and status that you typed in at the very, very beginning whenever you did the offer letter. If you get to this point and you're like, oh my gosh, I typed the wrong job code or I typed the wrong status and I actually meant to hire them for an 052, you need to call either myself or Kayla and have us fix it. Because like I said earlier, they're going to be entered whatever the job code is there. If everything's correct, you need to attach it and then sign and verify that they signed the correct job code and they used the same date of hire. Shoes for Crews has also changed. The Shoes for Crews forms are no longer in the hire packet, and this is because there were so many errors. The employees were filling them out at home, and they just were not filling them out correctly. So instead of them being in the hire packet, there will now be a little box that pops up and asks you if the employee is going to be in the bakery or deli area, and you're going to click yes or no. If you click yes, it's going to remind you to fill out the paper. I think it's on the next slide, actually. Yes, it looks just like this. It's going to ask you, will this employee work in the bakery, deli, Subway, or coffee shop? If they do, this box is going to pop up, and it's just going to remind you to send in a form to Debbie so that they can fill out their Shoes for Crews form. Oh, I'm sorry. The Shoes for Crews forms are on CSOP, and if you have any questions about the Shoes for Crews form, you need to call Debbie Nichols in risk. Her extension is on, it's on the one prior to this. Right here, 4589. If you have any questions about Shoes for Crews, since it's no longer in the hire packet, make sure and contact her about that. The next step is to fill out the cigarette form. The permit number and outlet number are on the certificate in your office. Pharmacy locations, you may need to write these numbers down since they're not easily accessible to you. And then just keep them around where you fill out your hire packet so it's a little bit easier the next time.
The Shoes for Crew catalog is actually on the training PCs. When you go to Employee Tools, there's a Shoes for Crew link right there. We keep that updated. Every time there's a new catalog, it's updated on there automatically. So they can just go to the training PC and they can see the actual catalog that we send down every time.
Okay. We're getting down to the last couple of steps. You're just going to go through and sign everywhere where it's indicated. You will never miss a signature because it will not let you, it's not going to let you finish without signing everywhere that you need to sign. Louisiana stores, if you have a minor that you're hiring for, you need to attach a photo of their completed application to employ minors. On this page, it's the same process as if you were attaching a photo of their documents or their bank documents or their job description. Back brace form, if the employee chooses to wear back support and they click yes, you need to click yes, a back brace was issued, and make sure and give them a back brace. If the employee chooses not to wear one, you're going to click employee prefers not to wear a back brace and then just sign after you select one or the other. This is another major process that has changed. The employee is no longer going to fill out the direct deposit form before they get to you. You're going to have a conversation with the employee and ask them if they want a pay card. You need to explain what a pay card is, and you also need to ask them if they want direct deposits. Explain that process also, because there's been a lot of confusion about that for some reason. Just pick one for them, whichever one that they want while they're standing there in front of you. You're going to sign that part where it says sign. And then if they want direct deposits, it's going to take you to the direct deposit form. You need to copy this information off of their bank documents. If they're standing there in front of you and they do not have a bank document, you need to click pay card. And then if they want to switch later, that's easily done through a direct deposit form found on CSOP. Hold on, there's something else I needed to say about that, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, that's right. The bank document, the one that they provide to you, it needs to be something that has the routing number and account number visible on the document. You're going to attach a photo of it there on that yellow paper clip down at the bottom. The exact same process as we've used before. This document that you attach needs to match the routing and accounting number that you type in the account information. I know it looks a little funny now that you're the one filling it out, but that's why we're going to send it back to the employee after this process, and then they're going to sign where it says employee signature. Okay, the very last step is you're going to verify that the attached photos are fully loaded in the hire packet. So this signature is at the bottom. And if you scroll down a little bit past this, it's going to show you that all the pictures that you attached. You need to make sure that they all are, none of them are fuzzy. We can read them all. Otherwise, we're just going to call you and we're going to get you to do it again. And then click sign once you've verified that they're all readable. All right, and then you're going to click finish in the top right-hand corner, or if you're on your phone, finish is going to be at the very bottom. If it does not let you click finish, there's an issue that you need to go back and fix. If you're on your phone and it's not letting you click finish, I suggest going and clicking finish later and jumping back on your desktop. Your desktop is going to point to you exactly where the issue is. And I highly recommend it. If you call me and you say, hey, I'm having issues, my first question to you is, are you on your desktop? And usually that solves the issue. If not, we can figure it out. But it's not going to let you click finish until you have everything done correctly. All right, your section is now complete. This is the new part. The packet's going to go back to the employee, and all they're going to do is just sign their direct deposit form. So you can give them instructions and say, you're going to receive an email. All you need to do is just sign off your direct deposit form, click finish, and you're good to go. If your new employee is an adult, after that's complete, the hire packet will go to Human Resources. Once they're completely finished and they have signed off, the hire packet is considered complete, and they're considered an employee at this point. If they're a minor, you'll need to have the parent come in and sign that section. The parent guardian signature is it's done on your phone. It's not going to be, they're not going to get an email. They need to come into the store and they need to sign on your mobile device. I'm pretty sure that most of you that are familiar with how to do this. I just remember that the pharmacy locations are not going to be hiring minors, so most of you should be familiar with this process. If not, just call me. Okay, hosting a parent signature. Again, everybody who needs to know how to do this should know how to do it by now. If not, just give me a call. This is, again, hosting a parent signature. Click Start, click Continue. And then the parent will sign, they'll click finish, and it should be sent to Human Resources after that. All right, these are some important reminders. We're just about to wrap up. Do not drug test an employee until their hire paperwork is finished. And when I say finished, I mean the employee has signed off on their direct deposit form, and on your end of the DocuSign Manage tab, it says completed. If you're drug testing employees before they have signed everything, before we have copies of their documents, you're essentially just drug testing random people off the street, and that is not allowed. You need to make sure that their hire paperwork is complete. We have really struggled with this over the past year, and even before then. Do not drug test employees until their hire paperwork is complete. Do not let an employee work until their hire paperwork is complete and they have been drug tested. Do not backdate or future date hire packets. I went over that at the very beginning. And do not hire minors under the age of 16. If your employee is 14 or 15 years old, they are not allowed to work. And if you're questioning it, you can ask what their date of birth is before you hire them. That way we don't run into that issue. The last thing is E-Verify stores. You need to make sure that you're not finishing hire packets on Fridays or Saturdays.
Hey guys, this is Emily Murray. I just wanted to say something quick about the drug screens. We're having a big problem. I'm going to be sending out an email this week. We have a lot of missing drug screens where people have not done drug screens once they finish the hire packet. It's going to be a big list. It's pretty bad. And if somebody is testing positive for on the drug screen, it could be weeks. If not, we had one that was months because it took that long for us to get a drug screen in. I feel bad suspending an employee when it's not their fault that they weren't drug tested. So please make it a priority to drug test that employee before they leave the store when they come in to do their I-9. It's very important.
Was there any questions about that process? We're good to go. All right. One of the last things we need to talk about is store employee files. This is just a maintenance kind of issue. We have been encouraging some of you to kind of get rid of store employee files. That has since changed. You need to continue to keep store employee files, and inside these files, we need to be able to find 6 months worth of timesheet corrections if those apply. If the employee had a pre-app with the hours of availability, those need to be on there also. That page needs to be in the file also. And then the other thing that needs to be kept in this file is the first page of the application. You need to be putting your cigarette form and TABC certificates in your store TABC or LARV compliance notebook. Another thing is, do not keep copies of sensitive documents in the store files. You should never need to take a copy of an employee's driver's license or social security card. That's something that we did whenever we had paper hire packets. If you're still doing this process, you need to stop, and you need to send any documents that you have into HR so that we can get them shredded. You need to send write-ups into corporate as soon as possible. As soon as the employee is written up, or if it's a commendation, whatever the write-up is, you need to send it in. Don't keep those in the employee file.
Also, if you have terminated files at your store, please make sure you're sending those into HR. With keeping that first page of the application, the important part of that is we need anyone who's in management, it can easily access the form that shows who their emergency contact is. So if something were to happen at the store late at night and someone that does not have access to DocuSign, so that they could go back and look at their hire packet, they can get to that file and they can find out who the emergency contact is for that employee. So that's very important. The question was, will the direct deposit be delayed? And the answer to that is no. So like, as soon as you click sign, it goes straight to that employee and they can open up their phone, their email, and sign off on it at that point, and then go straight to HR. So it's not delayed. We're not going to get that packet until that employee signs off on that direct deposit form.
Okay, I just want to briefly touch on how to print off the completed pages. So you're going to need this process whenever you go to print off the tobacco form and the first page of the application. You're going to go to your Manage tab, go to your Sent folder, and click on the employee who you're looking for their documents. Click on the document specifically on the right-hand side. You're going to find this picture is showing the application page. You're just going to click on it. And then you're going to click the printer button in the top right-hand corner and print that section off. If you're having issues printing from this page, you need to contact someone in IT. This usually happens whenever the store computer gets updated. I've had several calls on that. That's not something that I can help with. That's going to be an IT question. And then you need to go back and print out the cigarette form the exact same way. If you scroll down on the right-hand side, you're going to see all the papers, and the one that says 09 cigarette form, that's the one that you need to keep in your compliance notebook. If you have any issues or concerns, I want to encourage you to please call. Please don't just go through something and be like, oh, well, it's fine. They'll call me if it's an issue. Please call us. Like, that's what we're here for. We enjoy being able to help y'all. These are some important extensions. If you're having issues and you can't get a hold of somebody, there's 5 people on this list that you could possibly call. We're not going to bite you. We love y'all. We want y'all to be successful. Another time that I'm going to remind you, this is the 3rd time now, please do not ever delete or void an envelope. If you run into a problem that's not explained here, there's 5 people on this list that you can call. There's 5 people on this list that you can call.